Ram. Om Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Hari Om to everybody. Tomorrow is our Param Pujya Swamiji's 13th Mahasamadhi Day. Actually, there is no Jayanti or Samadhi Day for all Mahatmas. But we are observing or celebrating it only for the sake of getting some more clarity in our spiritual journey. Why? Each master or sage is expressing God, and each one does it in their own individual way. These are the words of Parapuja Swamiji. Each master or sage is expressing God, and yet each one does it in their own very individual way. It is the same truth, but experienced and described in different, unique ways. Because God is infinite. He is the diamond of many facets. We only see Him through one facet. And we can only explain about this one facet. People experience Him in different ways and express these different experiences in their own language. Nobody can say that they have understood Him completely because He is infinite. We see the body plus the substratum. We see that everything in this universe is based on the substratum that is self, capital S. So when we are progressing on the path, our vision gradually changes. When we are finally established in the self, we are completely changed. So we are trying to understand. That will help us in our individual spiritual journey. We are always having an open mind. So for the past few days, if we carefully observe, Papa has been talking about the impersonal aspect. Puja Mataji also the impersonal aspect. Now when Puja Swamiji's turn comes, he also talks about the impersonal aspect. Impersonal aspect means when a Puja Swamiji says, when I look at a person, I see him or her as pure consciousness and the body. A tiny speck floating in the consciousness. Here the consciousness C is capital. Consciousness absolute, not conscious of something. That's why we said it's impersonal. We know that we are talking now. You know that you are hearing now. Those who are seeing through the laptop, the screen is there, so many faces are there. That means seeing. We know that we are seeing. So what is that knowing principle in us? This is not for question answer. This is for enabling us to go inward. No answer is expected from outside. So when Swamiji says consciousness, we are trying to understand that word consciousness. that factor because of which we know that we are, no? It is interpreted to us through a thought, agreed. Otherwise these words cannot come. So the core of our being here is identified as awareness or consciousness. Let us see, this is a food for thought, you know. On his 13th Mahasamadhi day, the purpose of observing that Mahasamadhi day is to take something for our spiritual journey, you know. Rest of the things are history. So we try to understand, he says, when I see him or her as pure conscious, when I look at a person, I see him or her as pure consciousness and the body a tiny speck floating in the consciousness. So all the matter in the universe of innumerable forms is only many tiny spots floating in pure consciousness. When someone speaks, I know the sound comes from consciousness only. Though the body walks, etc., the power is of pure consciousness only. But consciousness is not affected by so-called action. So it can be said that such actions are taking place through the vehicles and the power for such action. So it can be said that such actions are taking place through the vehicles, body, mind, intellect. And the power for such action is drawn from pure consciousness only. So there is no ego anywhere. But each form takes upon its responsibility for such action and therefore the sense of doership with all the consequences. When I look at anybody, I try to see through the body to be conscious of the divine pervading. When I see someone come, I think that will be a controversy. When I think of a person very often, I consider the person only as a part of the universe, as all other forms are. My thought goes to that person often because that person in form must be thinking of this form. If that form is considered as only part of the universe, there is no chance of attachment. Attachment is affection given to a particular individual, limiting it to the body and not taking it as part of the universe. Attachment is affection given to a particular individual, limiting it to the body and not taking it as a part of the universe. When I drink anything, I look upon that liquid as God himself. I am drinking God in that form. When I eat something, I am eating God. When I touch something, I am touching God. When I am thinking of anybody, I am thinking of God. As she or he is the part of the manifestation of God. Thus I live, move and have my being on God, although I am yet to be established in that all the time. My practice in those days was that when I saw anybody, I would see the consciousness in him pervading every atom of his body. I took it that the body was active only because of the consciousness, which is real and not the body. This consciousness is also called the unifying spirit that connects up all the forms in Prakriti into one unit, like the thread that connects up all beads in a rosary and makes it a single unit. I was charmed by Saint Jnaneshwar Maharaj's statement that Purusha is the gold thread connecting all the gold beads, which are the innumerable forms of Prakriti. Thus he says that Purusha and Prakriti are not different. This practice gave great joy. Yet I lacked the feeling I was completely free or liberated. There was something more to be experienced. One more word he used. When I see any person, I see him or her as the center of the universe. Because any form we see is the center. As the infinite has its center everywhere and circumference nowhere. So when Swamiji has elsewhere said that when he was interacting with everybody, he was trying to identify everything with this. So when somebody goes and sits, that is why he was not speaking as we all speak. He said thus everything was identified with God. He said, I often used to repeat, oh Lord, you are everything. All the emotions, all the thoughts, all the feelings are you only. As there is nothing but you. You are also beyond everything. Whenever the thought of a person came to my mind, I took him to be not an individual but a part of the universe, which is the manifestation of God. From early morning, whatever I saw, whatever I touched, I used to say within myself, this is also your form, O Lord. Thus everything was identified with God. This made me speak less. As the mind was busy, engaged in identifying everything and everybody with God and trying to be conscious of the Purusha pervading the entire body of that person or object. So I was cool and calm, enjoying the communion with God in each and every form I saw. I was mistaken to be unwell, and I had to say again and again that I was all right. My effort was to maintain this in all conditions, but as soon as I started talking, the mental condition changed, and the thought of God got diluted, and I was back to the body consciousness. I was trying to maintain this consciousness, even when talking to others, and all time success was not much. I failed often, but failure did not deter me. So in 2003, Swamiji wrote these before he was bedridden. So in that he was clearly trying to bring out that his sadhana was mainly focused on the impersonal aspect of God. Though there are different approaches, as he himself said, we have to keep on exploring, possibilities to move toward God, who is seated within. Probably we are not sure, we are not well aware of what will be in alignment with our core. So we have to keep on pursuing it. Different methods are there. Bhakti, devotion is there, contemplation is there, serving everybody as the form of God. A touch of love, a touch of reverence, a touch of gratitude, a touch of perfection. All these things are expressions. So on important days like this, we try to go through their biographical sketch and try to understand how they were able to scale the heights, whether anything can be taken from that for my spiritual progress. This is a very important day. As an aspirant like us, a sadhaka like us should approach. Otherwise, it is also an ordinary day. Exactly an ordinary day with nothing special to it. We attach some importance to it so that we can eke out the maximum benefit out of it. So today Swamiji is giving us an opportunity through his words how he scaled the heights. Because he was concentrating on the impersonal aspect, he was not attached to anything. Because everything he was trying to connect with that. And one word he has used is consciousness. Just like, when we say life force and consciousness can be, at least to some extent, our intellect can go nearer to it. Just like life force is identified as the one which is now propelling us to breathe, the heart to breathe. We know that we are not doing it. We know that we have not begun it. We have not started this process in ourselves. It got started. It is still going on. We have some idea. So there is a higher power in us when we say life force. Similarly, this consciousness. If consciousness is not there, I am not there, the world is not there, So the basic fundamental thing, Swamiji has chosen to this core, consciousness. That is why he was always keeping quiet. He says, I was busy in identifying. Whenever we ask anything, he will not immediately reply, So the calmness or the quietude or the equanimity or the all-embracing love, everything was an expression of this consciousness. He was trying to, not limiting to anywhere, but trying to connect himself with the consciousness absolute. That is why he specifically said, when I hear the sound, what did he say? When someone speaks, I know the sound comes from consciousness. Some clues, we can try. Though the body walks, etc., the power is pure consciousness only. You have to just start thinking, at the superficial level, no. Start thinking. So it can be said that such actions are taking place through the vehicles, and the power for such action is drawn from pure consciousness only. Papa, in one of his quotations, once the mind ceases to be restless, correct, when it is calm and quiet, being free from thoughts and desires, that moment we are not individual but pure consciousness. Which is at once cosmic and supercosmic in nature. Stillness of the mind Stillness of the mind awakens in us a consciousness which is full of radiance and ecstasy. And now we know we are the truth, the eternal. This is what we could find parallel, no? Papa's words and Swamiji's words. He says here, once the mind ceases to be restless, being free from thoughts and desires, that moment we are not individuals, but pure consciousness, which is at once cosmic and supercosmic in nature. Stillness of the mind awakens in us a consciousness which is full of radiance and ecstasy. So to get that stillness, we have to tame or control, or what you call, concentrate on one thought at the exclusion of all other thoughts. So then he gave us the name. That is why he said utterance of God's name is to make the mind ultimately still, free from all thoughts. In the stillness it is that you know and realize God. So we can put two and two together, pure consciousness. Intellectually we can try to understand this much, that pure consciousness is there, but I become aware of the consciousness only when all thoughts are stilled. If thoughts are to be stilled, the moment I close my eyes or open, so many thoughts rush in. So in order to damn the thought, to control the thoughts, I need one thought to drive away all the other thoughts. And so I take to the chanting of God's name, so that I concentrate more and more on one particular thought, and with the result that all other thoughts go away, and finally this Nama chanting thought also goes. Then the sense of individuality is made to have a glimpse of the source from everything happens. That is why he said utterance of God's name is to make the mind ultimately still, free from all thoughts. It is in the stillness that you know and realize God. Then again, if I have to control my thoughts with the help of Ramna, it is not that easy. So all my actions should also be in line with that. Outer actions should be compatible with inner aspirations. So Swamiji's Samadhi day tomorrow, we try to go through these words consciousness. He says human birth is a gateway to liberation. Tomorrow also we will read. Having taken birth, we are also endowed with intellect. Using the intellect, we find that there is something higher than what the world can give us. We can get happiness depending upon certain conditions. That happiness is always followed by sorrow. Our intellect tells us that there is something more than this, eternal happiness. Then we start trying for it. That is the vocation, the turning point in our life to return home. Then the efforts to go back home begins. Home means our original nature, the core of our being. We started from our home, we have forgotten the address of the home. We remember on a lighter vein, we remember one incident that took place in Bangalore many years ago, many decades ago. Somebody got transferred from Chennai to Bangalore, TVS, and so the brother, he was able to find out a house in Jayanagar, fixed up everything. One day evening, this person came and said, please locate my home. I have been going through Jayanagar for the past so many, more than half an hour, and the auto man is got dejected. So luckily I remembered this home. Now please take me to my home. Because everything is like the same thing, He was unable, because he was very new, he was unable to locate his own home. We are exactly like that. We have started from the home and we have forgotten our home. So Swamiji here says, then the efforts to go back home begins. We come in contact with a wise man who knows the truth, address. He tells us how to go back. He asks us to meditate on our true being or any other method that will lead us to our original home. So tomorrow, two clues he is giving, Every one of us can try in our own way. We have to try, not hearing. Tomorrow is an opportunity given to us to ponder deeply about it. That is the purpose of observing the Mahasamadhi day. He has scaled that height. He is sharing with us the method he used. If it is up to us to use it. It might be okay for us, it might not be okay for us. But we should give a fair trial, no? That is why we are observing their Samadhi, we are celebrating their Jayanti day. Why are we doing it? It is only to give a boost to our spiritual progress. Otherwise, everything will be at the sentimental level, superficial level, leaving no deep impact in us. Here now, two things Swamiji says. One is consciousness. The other is our real home. We as individuals, we have forgotten our real home. We are searching to go back to our real home. That's called eternal happiness. We don't know how to do it, so we go to a wise person, a guru, and he tells us these are all the ways by which you can go home. We try, and when we go home, we enjoy it. We don't go back again. Once again, we will read. Very, very, very interesting. We should not just hear it and go. A lot of food for thought. Human birth is a gateway to liberation. Having taken birth, we are also endowed with intellect. Using the intellect, we find that there is something higher than what the world can give us. We can get happiness depending upon certain conditions. That happiness is always followed by sorrow. Our intellect tells us that there is something more than this eternal happiness. That means that happiness which is not dependent upon any object. Papa calls it as objectless happiness. Anything that is connected with an object, it is not eternal happiness. It comes and goes as long as we have that. That's all. But here it is objectless happiness, eternal happiness. Then we start trying for it. That is the vocation. The turning point in our life to return home. Then the efforts to go back home begins. So sadhana is nothing but a trip back to our own home. This is another way of an interpretation he gives us. We started from there, we have lost. We forgot about the whole thing. At a particular time, through some experience or some situation, God made us to become aware that you are searching for your home. That also we did not know. And then when the Guru says we are drawn to a Guru who also started like this and somehow he got back to his room, home. And he says what you are doing is you are searching for the home outside, it is inside you. And these are all the methods I used. And placing it before us. It is up to us to use, no doubt. So then the efforts to go back home begins. We come in contact with a wise man who knows the truth. He tells us how to go back. He asks us to meditate on our true being or any other method that will lead us to our original home. In that process, we purify ourselves, meaning our mind gets purified. All those desires are dropped off. All the effects of the desires are dropped off. The effects of our actions are also dropped off. And the mind becomes perfectly still. When it is perfectly still, we have a glimpse of our true being. By further efforts to remain in that state continuously, we get established in that state which is our real home, our own self. We go back as naked as we started from there. No appendage. This is the condition to shed all that you have earned during your journey. Then we are qualified to enter our home. Enough food for thought, no? So he builds it up, beautifully. We have forgotten our home. We started this journey. We don't know that we are searching for our own home. And because of his unbounded love for us, he causes something by which, we get in touch with a person who really got back to his home. And he gives us how he did it, what is the methodology he used. Then we start following him. There are so many hurdles. Biggest hurdle is impurity of the heart. So we try to purify, broadening our love circle, less and less of me and mine, more and more of we and us. Trying to become free from cravings, infatuations, desires. These are all some of the methods by which we are reminded of our real home. And he says, as we keep on proceeding, everything gets dropped off, but it's not that we are struggling to drop off. All those desires are dropped off. All the effects of the desires are dropped off. The effects of our actions are also dropped off. And the mind becomes perfectly still. When it is perfectly still, we have a glimpse of true being. By further efforts to remain in that state continuously, we get established in that state which is our real home, our real self. And conditioning, we go back as naked as we started from there. All our conceptions, We have put on so many things and we have to remove everything. That is what is meant by naked. So many. We thought this is good, that is good, this is better, that is better. This is the goal, that is the goal. No, this is the methodology, that is the methodology. All those things are taken out, and what remains is that. We go back as naked as we started from there. That is the condition to shed all that you have earned during your journey. So even the sadhana. That's it. You remember Papa said sadhana is to know that by sadhana you cannot attain him. For that we have to do sadhana. Not that we cannot, we should do sadhana. And finally we come to know that that also has to do. Just like we take up the Nama chanting and finally the Nama chanting also gets stopped. It has its own use of arresting dissimilar thoughts, leading us to that stillness and then leaving it. Then we are qualified to enter our home. So these are the two points which he places before us today. Let us try to do more and more, pondering over it, and pray to him now, who is there in the form of remembrance in our heart. Swamiji, you were able to get stabilized in that consciousness absolute. And you were trying to identify whenever you open your eyes, whenever you transact with the world outside, your norm was totally different. You were trying to connect yourself with that spirit. We made us to intellectually understand, but guide us, lead us. Whenever we go off the track, you pull us up. We also would like to travel like that. We also would like to reach that stage. That is why we are closely associating with your life and teachings. Even if there are so many deficiencies in us, you somehow empower us to get over the deficiency by reminding us of our original nature, our original home. And facilitate us to move further. Your Samadhi Day gives us an opportunity. On this day, 13 years back, you were relieved from the bondages of this body also. And you have become one with the cosmic self. So we can approach your cosmic self through your individual self. Because we have that close association with your individual self. Though you are not in our midst, you are still with us. The moment we think about it, you are there. So through that form, try to connect us up to the formless. Through that individual self, connect us to the cosmic self. So let this prayer, or similar to that prayer, may well up in our heart, so that we try to effectively make the opportunity offered to us tomorrow in the form of the 13th Mahasamadhi Day. Because all of us know that what Swamiji has been. We cannot even say Swamiji was, because he is with us. Through so many of the traits, he is very much with us alive. His calmness, his quietude, his all-embracing love, his total care and concern for everybody, his self-effacing, his humbleness, his innocence, his childlike approach, all these things now understand, because he was identifying with the world outside, not as an individual, but as a part of the whole universe. We stopped with admiring those traits. We never bothered to And unknowingly, we never bothered to understand how you were able to do it. In your own words, when you give this, some light is there, some clarity is there. So we will all try our level best. Tomorrow also we will try to dwell upon this aspect more and more. Hari Om. Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram Om. Shri Ram Jai Ram Jai Jai Ram